Hello, Armoured Pants here. I have a video for you, and this is on the German line, and it's the Tier 3, which is the Panzer III, and this is a complete guide for you. Now, let's have a look at the key points, basic info. This is the German Tier 3. It's a medium tank. It's preceded by the PZ-35, which we also have a video on this. Has a 50mm gun when it's upgraded, which I recommend you do. 6.2 second reload. It does 52 kilometers an hour top speed, which is really good. 20 kilometers an hour in reverse, which is great for getting into cover. It's terrain friendly, it's map friendly, it's very agile, and with the front of the armour you will bounce shots in this tank because it's a very good armour profile for your Tier 3. Now, hopefully you've watched the other videos, you've come up with me from Tier 1 to Tier 2 and now in Tier 3. Or you may be a veteran Blitz player who remembers this tank as a Tier 4 and now wants to see what's going on with it back in Tier 3. Either way, you're very welcome. So let's have a look now at the tech spec, and as always we're going to go into Blitzhanger and have a look at the technical aspects in this brilliant asset, which is blitzhanger.com. We put in Panzer III, we do a search, filters, pops up, here we are, here's the tank. And you can see here it's going to cost you 6,000 credits to buy, preceded by the Panzer 35T as we said. And the next tank up is the Panzer IV-D, which is another medium tank, or the Hetzer, which is a tank destroyer, so I'd recommend the Panzer IV-D if you're going next. And now we're going to do the configuration. You can hit pause here to make sure that you're following what I'm doing, but I'm going for gun rammer, and I'm going for refiled gun, I'm going for enhanced armour, going for toolbox, etc. Now, as always, and as you've learned from the other videos, you don't need to have all this equipment. You can play the tank without it. But my view is when you're starting the game, you should not race to the top tiers and not race up the tiers. You should get good in the tiers where you play. And I will put in here supercharge, as you can see. And the reason for that is, as opposed to enhanced gun laying, is that it gets much better penetration over distance. So when you're using the gun rammer to give you the higher rate of fire, you're actually sure you're going to pen from a distance. And you can see here I have a reload now of 6.2 seconds, which is not bad at all for a gun, 50mm gun that's going to do quite a bit of damage to the enemy. Now, as I said, I would use the equipment because it gives you an advantage over the players who don't have equipment. And you should use equipment, and you should get very good in whatever tank you're playing before you move up. The worst mistake you can make in this game is to think it's a race to Tier 10, because it's not. Basically, the objective is to get the skills you need to get good at the game and to play well in the tank that you're in, and make sure that you are competent in that tank. Anyway, let's look at the fantastic frontal armour here. As you can see, look how purple and red that is. That is going to bounce shots for you. That tank armour will not let you down. And you can see that it even has a tough cupola, which is the thing on the top, and it's not vulnerable to even from behind. And a lot of tanks have the cupola as a very vulnerable part of the tank, but not on this. You can see even on the back of the cupola, on the sides, and then it's going to bounce some shots for you as well. As we said before, red, purple, almost impenetrable, purple is impenetrable, red almost impenetrable, orange difficult to penetrate, etc. So you can see here that you will bounce shots in this. This tank will bounce some shots for you, and also with its high speed it means it's difficult for the enemy to get a bead on you and to hit you. Here we are in a Tier 3 battle. It's same tactics, peek-a-boom, so that's basically hide and shoot. Go in front line, which you can with this armour. If you're going to go circle of death or long range sniping, it's also good. It's also good in a brawl, it's also good in hit and run. It's basically a very, very good all-round tank, as it actually was in real life when it served in the Wehrmacht in the 1930s and 40s. This tank was a brilliant, versatile tank and really served very, very well up until, for example, the Lancia T-34, etc., when because it was unable to mount bigger caliber guns, had to be taken out of service, and then it was replaced by other tanks like the Panther, etc. But anyway, Panzer III is a great tank. You're going to enjoy playing it, so let's take it out for a run and see how it goes. Now, this map is mines, so I'm also going to give you a few lessons here, because this is the map that you will play a lot. Mines and Fort Despair are the two of the most played map, so take notes on the map. Now, As I said before, controlling the hill is key to this map, so get up there fast. And as we have a tank that does 52 kilometers an hour, we can do that. So I am just going hell for leather now to get up this hill. I've hit the engine accelerator, as you can see on the right hand side. It's counting down. That's gotten me up fast. And you can see that I have now spotted up several of the enemy. And I have can shoot into them. I also have a position where I can just show my front of my tank and my turret and bounce some shots. And now, as you see, this guy is coming after me. And what I'm doing is I'm moving the tank around, and this makes it very difficult for him to penetrate me. I'm going to move back, get the front facing him, so again it's difficult for him to hit me. The thickest armor is facing him, so he decides he doesn't really like that at all and makes a run for it. So basically I put significant damage into him, and I took one shot myself, so that's a fairly good hit point trade. Now I'm back into position, I'm spotting up the enemy for my team. I'm also putting the damage. Also what I'm doing is, and there's my friend again, and just going straight up the bum for him. What I'm doing here is I am putting damage into the enemy but not taking too much myself. Now because I know where the enemy is, I'm going to come down here and try to take out this Chiha here. Again, what I do is I am just staying in cover, and then I am firing, shooting at him, moving, going back into cover. Again, I was able to bounce a shot there. I did take one, but bounced another shot, but did take one from the guy, but it's the guy on the other side. Again, took a shot from him now, but now I should be able to put another shot into him, which I do. Bounced a shot there, and now I'm going to put in another shot into him, and I've cleared him off. Now there's a Panzer 4A over here, and that guy was putting shots into the side of me when I was trying to clear this guy. But now that it's a fair fight, and it's just one-on-one, I'm going to be actually able to clear him as well. So he's zoomed in. That's why I said to you before, you shouldn't do this when you're not shooting, because now he doesn't actually see me, and he probably doesn't know what's going on there. He's just getting damaged. He was zoomed in looking to the right. So only zoom in when you're shooting, right? That's a golden rule that we've said in the videos before. Now I fired one into him, and then I bounced two shots there, and I'm able to do that because I was moving backwards, and just that makes it much more difficult. If I'd stayed still there, I would have taken a lot more damage, and I'd be back down probably to just around 100 hit points now. So you can see by bouncing those shots and by moving all the time, I was actually able to do damage and not actually receive damage. Now there's somebody unspotted, I think, over there. He's putting some damage into me. Again, I fire, move backwards. So, you know, stopping is dropping, right? This is what we say in this game. If you continually stop in this game, you're given an easy target for the enemy. So what I'm doing here is I'm firing and moving. Now I am taking a bit of damage, but I am putting in much more damage than I am receiving. And I'm doing a great job for my team here. And now he's a one-shot for me. He can't one-shot me. So that's him taken out. Now we're down to a 4v3 situation, so we've put the advantage into our team, and we're one tank up now. Now I'm going to go and see what I can do. What I do here is I let my ally spot, because I don't have too much hit points left, and I don't want to run the risk of getting a lot of damage and then only being just one shot for the enemy. So I let him go first. He's on full hit points, so he can afford to take a shot. So I let him go first, and let him spot up the enemy, and now I can get in a few shots. Now, here's another thing. You need to engage threats that come from behind. As we've always said, the back of your tank is the most vulnerable part of your tank. So if somebody is coming up behind you, do not ignore them. You have to take action. Also hit the help button and get your allies to come and help you. But do not ignore people coming up behind you, because they will damage you. Even if he is in a tank with a very low caliber gun, even if he's not a very good player, if he can see your bum or your sides, he's going to be able to do a lot of damage onto you. And there are many games lost where the Greens, your team, has the advantage, but one guy comes up behind and starts putting in a lot of damage, farming damage as we say, because he's ignored, and every shot he puts in, because he's firing into your backside, is actually doing a lot of damage, and is what we want to avoid. So always engage an enemy if it's coming from behind, and also ask your allies for help too. Do not want to have the enemy behind you. Now, I've come up around behind him here, and then my old friend the Panzer III is there. Now, as you saw what I did there, again, next rule to accompany stopping is dropping is that aiming is maiming. So we take our time, we put that shot in, make sure that we do the damage, and then we just have one player left, and it's the guy I was chasing, and he's over here now. Now I only have 78 hit points left, so I'm going to be cautious here. So I see him around this one, actually bounces that. T15 actually has a relatively good armor on the front, especially against other tier 3s and against tier 2s. And then one last shot into him, and I get the last kill, so that's 2 kills for me. But I did over 1.3k damage, which in a tier 3 game is quite impressive. And you'll see, oh, I got a mastery badge there as well, which is fantastic. And you'll see, basically, I didn't do anything which is spectacular. I didn't do anything which you cannot do. What I did was, I went to the top of the hill so I could spot and shoot. I took up a position where I could shoot and go into cover. I kept the front of my tank facing the enemy all the time. And when I was firing at the enemy, I fired and moved immediately so that I was able to bounce as many shots as possible. Of course, you can't bounce them all. And you can see I damaged every single player on the enemy team. Got a huge amount of XP for assisting my allies, spotting, doing damage, etc. And you can see here statistics: fired 30 shots, 29 hit and 28 penetrated. If we look there, I also got a high caliber medal, a Confederate medal for helping my allies. Got a master gunner, a sharpshooter, a whole load of golden ribbons as well. And of course, I got destruction assistance. So I got a whole load of ribbons there for doing a damage block. Got an epic knockdown, etc. So I got a lot of ribbons and a lot of things which are going to contribute to my overall statistics. I got a mastery badge, which is basically mean that you perform in that tank better than 99% of players over the last few days. And again, as I said, nothing spectacular there. A fast medium tank. Use the speed to get into strategic positions as I did in the top of that hill. Use that frontal armor. Make sure it faces the enemy. It has a good gun and it will pain the enemy, but make sure you aim it properly. Take your time. Make sure your shots count. Then get back into cover. The gun is very accurate. German guns always are. They're more accurate than other lines. So make sure that you utilize that strength. Use the tank's agility. Don't sit still. Stopping is dropping, so don't sit still. Keep moving all the time. And again, other golden rule: aiming is maiming. Don't rush your shots. Make sure that you take your time and make sure that you pick a part of the tank that will be penetrated. Stopping is dropping, as we said. When you stop, you're an easy target. When you're moving, you're not. So there you go, simple guide, simple lessons. Take them on board. Watch the video again if you missed anything, and subscribe and follow, and don't miss anything on the channel. Okay, take care. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a million. Take care. Bye.